Welcome to this lesson with Teacher Kamanga. In our today's lesson, we're going to look at the endocrine system. Now, in the endocrine system, we'll look at a past paper, which we're going to consider a question from 2022, question number 9, section B. Alright, so we're going to look at how you're supposed to answer this question from section B that comes from the endocrine system. So our question is coming from the endocrine system. The first question, we have question A, which is saying what is meant by the term hormone. What is meant by the term hormone? So we need to understand to say probably this question, whenever we want to answer, we just need to be straight to the point, as it is requiring us to mention the definition of the term hormone. Okay, so now in trying to define the hormone, there are things that we need to consider. Number one, we need to understand to say a hormone is a chemical substance. Okay, number two, we need to also to understand to say this hormone it is produced by ductless glands. Okay, that one is very, very important that we need also to understand. Number three, we need also to understand to say the same hormone, it is transported by blood. Okay, after it has been produced, it is transported by blood. Okay, the other thing that we need to understand is that this hormone, it alters or changes one or more specific targeted organs. So those are some of the things that we need to understand as we are trying to define the term hormone. Okay, so I hope you are clear. So let's go to the definition. So how are we going to define the term hormone? So by the definition, we're saying a hormone is a chemical substance produced by a ductless gland carried by the blood, which alters or changes the activity of one or more specific target organs. Okay, that is the definition. So I'll still go through again the definition. I'm saying a hormone is a chemical substance produced by a ductless gland carried by the blood, which alters or changes the activity of one or more specific target organs. Okay, so we understand that definition for the term hormone to be it's very specific and clear based on those things that I've highlighted when I was just trying to bring out the definition. So I mentioned to say, do not forget that an hormone is a chemical substance. Okay, number two, do not forget that this hormone, it is produced by a ductless gland. Okay, we should also not forget to say this hormone, it is transported by the blood. Where is it transported to? To the specific targeted organs. So the change or the alteration comes into those specific targeted organs. So that's why our definition was a hormone is a chemical substance which is produced by a ductless gland and carried by the blood, which alters or changes the activity of one or more specific target organs. Okay, so those that is a clear definition that we need to understand as we're trying to define this term hormone. Okay, let's come to our next question, which is B, which is that one. It's saying describe the effect. So here we're talking about the effect of under production of the following hormones in humans. So now we are looking at the under production, meaning what we are simply trying to say, what happens if the production of these hormones, it is lesser than usual. So the first one, we're looking at the insulin. Okay, so we understand insulin is also a very vital hormone which is responsible for a lot of changes in our body. So now what normally happens if this insulin is underproduced in our body? So number one that we need to understand, it leads to a disease which we call diabetes mellitus. Okay, so number one, if underproduced, it leads to a disease called diabetes mellitus. Okay, number two, we need also to understand that it is also going to lead to the abnormal or high levels of glucose in our blood. Okay, so we need to understand that. Okay, another thing that we need to understand is that if it is underproduced, it will also lead to the presence of glucose in our urine. Okay, then also it is also going to cause the persistence thirsty. We understand if it's underperformed produced, there will be a persistence of thirsty, want to drink a lot of water. Okay, again we also need to understand that this will lead to the excessive intake of water, there is also drastic loss, okay, of weight. In this case, there is also loss of sensation in some body parts. So those are some of the things that are going to occur if insulin has been under produced. So even as we are trying to answer our question in this case, we can put our question in paragraph form, okay, we can put in paragraph form, but those are the main points that we need to understand. So now I've said number one, it will lead to diabetes mellitus, okay. Number two, there will be abnormal high levels of glucose in the blood. Number three, there will be also the presence of urine, the presence of glucose in the urine. Then there will be persistence of thirsty, meaning there will be leading to excessive intake of water. There will be drastic weight loss, okay, and there will be also loss of sensation to some body parts. So these are some of the things that are going to come due to the underproduction of insulin. So we understand insulin is a vital hormone which also deals with the level of glucose in our blood. So these are some of the things that we need to understand. Okay, now let's come to thyroxine. What normally happens if the thyroxine has been under produced? Okay, so in most cases thyroxine is produced by the thyroid gland, so we need to understand. So now, since this gland is located just by the neck, so what happens is that if it's underproduced, number one, there will be the issue of the goiter. We know the swelling of the neck, okay, so there will be the issue of goiter and also the swelling of the neck, as we are trying to mention that. There will also be enlargement of the thyroid gland, so the thyroid gland is going to start getting enlarged. Okay, there is also stunt growth. Okay, this stunt growth we're talking about, it might also lead to what we call dwarfism. All right, there is also retarded mental development in children, where there are raw metabolic rates that are taking place. So these are also some of the things that are going to be caused if the thyroxine is underproduced. Okay, so those things that I've mentioned, when trying to answer, we just put them in a paragraph form, then would have answered this question and would have gotten the marks that it deserves. Okay, so this has been Teacher Kamanga. I hope you've been enlightened on how you're supposed to answer questions from section B in biology. Okay, so look for more questions that you can be able to answer like this, then you'll be able to see your progress in your preparation for the exams. Okay, it has been Teacher Kamanga. Have a blessed night.